I mean, I see the point of that. I see how someone can come at it and say this might make a difference, but I think the reality is it is an accessibility issue, and it is partly due to our business, a parenting issue. I mean, there's a lot of movies about drug dealers, and you don't have 1 in 10 kids growing up to be a drug dealer, or what. I'm throwing out random numbers at this point, guys. No, but you know, you
love
don't.
Your science.
Thanks. Yeah, you don't have. We're not worried about all the kids in the country having access to being cocaine dealers. There's a lot of movies about adultery, but we're not addressing it. Like, there's a lot of things that are emphasized in our entertainment industry as plot points and as interesting storylines, but none of them seem to be as affecting the American public as the gun control. So I don't necessarily know that it's blamable on Hollywood, though I think there's a certain responsibility, and we need to re-examine everything that we do with it if it's a real problem, which it is.
I really am perturbed by, I really hate Quentin Tarantino's movies, generally, and I thought Django Unchained especially was really tough to bear in light of everything, but just that the deep romanticizing of it, the fetishizing of it, is creepy to me, and or maybe it's just lost on me. I don't enjoy it.
It's such a paradoxical issue because those movies don't bother me at all, and it doesn't bother me when I see people shoot guns. Yet I'm fully for more gun control in reality because I'm smart enough to recognize what's reality and what's not, and I think that that's an issue that needs to also be addressed. I think the emphasis that we put on like the lives of the entertainment industry or the movies being real and the inability to the sort of the mental illness behind it. You know, a lot of the people that are picking up guns have an inability to distinguish between reality and fantasy, and I think that's probably, though I do support gun control, a tighter gun control than we have now, that's an issue that deserves to be addressed because that's probably the root of it.
Canada sees the same motion pictures that we do. You play the same video games that we do. They see the same television that we do. Their crime rate, and specifically their murder rate, is a tiny fraction of ours. The only difference is they have strong gun control laws, and we do. I wish somebody would ask the head of the NRA how he explains that.
I think people with guns are responsible. I mean, I don't know. I absolutely don't think that you can blame what we see, but I do think that there's so much violence out there in the news, in movies. I personally don't like to see too much violence in film. It's too bad that it seems to be so attractive to people. I'd like to put other kinds of stories out into the world, and as a Middle Easterner, as an Arab American, I think it's really important that we see stories, non-violent stories, that are coming out of the Middle East. So that's, I just think that's so important. We're living in an increasingly violent world, and I think to just, put something else out there is very necessary.
That's a really interesting question. It's interesting about gun violence, but it's interesting on every level. I mean, Hollywood is this sort of center of manufacturing dreams and image systems that we export all over the world as to how people should live their lives. And in this story, this group, the East, is really grappling with that question. Like, how do you live a meaningful life that's accountable, that's responsible, that doesn't oppress other people? And they're asking questions and trying to figure it out in real time themselves, and so are we, and so is the movie. And I think certainly Hollywood is asking, itself that question as well. It's like, how can we create an image system that's better for the world?